Buongiorno a tutti, ben trovati. È con grande piacere che vi do il benvenuto insieme a tutti i soci fondatori e ai partners al lancio dell'iniziativa RES4MED, Renewable Energy Solutions for the Mediterranean Region. Nel corso della giornata avremo occasione di ascoltare autorevoli opinioni e di elaborare insieme riflessioni sulle grandi opportunità che il mercato delle rinnovabili offre nel bacino del Mediterraneo. Consentitemi tuttavia, prima di iniziare i nostri lavori, due ringraziamenti speciali. Il primo ringraziamento va al mio predecessore. Se infatti oggi siamo qui a celebrare l'avvio di RES4MED grazie all'intuizione del Ministro del Turismo, dello Sport e degli Affari Regionali, Piero Gnudi, che nel suo recente passato alla presidenza di Enel ha ideato e fortemente creduto in questa iniziativa. Grazie, Ministro. Il secondo ringraziamento speciale va al Ministro dell'Ambiente, Corrado Clini, per aver aderito al nostro invito e per aver accettato di partecipare ai nostri lavori. Il suo personale impegno nell'area del Mediterraneo è ben noto a tutti. Il lancio del programma MEDREP in occasione del Summit di Johannesburg del 2002 e l'ampio programma di cooperazione bilaterale e multilaterale che il Ministro ha avviato fin dal 2003 nell'area sono il segno tangibile di questo impegno. Quindi grazie anche a lei, signor Ministro. And now let me switch to English in order to welcome all of our international guests, colleagues and friends here at the official launch of the RES4MED initiative. The Mediterranean area is one of the world's most culturally and historically diverse regions. Its rich and favorable climate has made it a magnet for settlement. It is the only region where three continents meet in a rich and charming mosaic of diverse peoples, languages, religions, and cultures. Last year's political and economic turbulence, the so-called Arab Spring, represented a turning point for the whole area. The changing geopolitical scenario poses new risks and opportunities that will also affect energy issues in the years to come, and which are not limited to the Arab world, but which also impact upon the northern shores of the Mediterranean. New governments will have to face several challenges, and energy will be a key issue in this context. We need new approaches built on a model of closer regional integration. Indeed, the energy sector has been, so far, one of the main topics of cooperation among countries. It was the heart of the European Union political genesis, and since the Barcelona process started in 1995, is one of the main issues in the ongoing cooperation process between the European Union and the Mediterranean region. While it is perhaps too early for us to foresee how the political scenario will evolve in some countries, we are certainly aware of the main elements that will influence the energy landscape significantly. Today, the Mediterranean's energy supply is dominated by oil and natural gas. Fossil fuels currently represent about 80% of the energy supply of the region that will remain fossil fuel based. With the persisting predominance of hydrocarbons in the energy mix, an increasing degree of interdependence is predicted in terms of the energy outlook for the years to come. European Union energy dependency upon the producer countries is increasing, whilst most of the southern and eastern Mediterranean countries are economically dependent upon their hydrocarbon exports. In terms of energy demand, the North Mediterranean countries currently account for 70% of the total energy demand, but the scenario is changing rapidly. the Mediterranean population is expected to increase by more than 80 million over the next 20 years, along with sustained economic growth, especially in the south. This demographic growth will be combined with a rapid urbanization rate and important socio-economic development needs. As a result, energy demand is increasing quite rapidly on the southern shores of the Mediterranean. By contrast, the North Mediterranean area is characterized by more mature countries and by the saturation of energy demand for certain services. If we wish to translate these concepts into numbers, we can see that the overall energy demand of the Mediterranean basin is expected to grow by about 1.5% per year on average by 2030. In particular, South Mediterranean electricity demand will increase at an average growth rate of about 5% per year. According to OME's data, this will require the addition of about 370 gigawatts of capacity, more than half of which will need to be built in the South Mediterranean countries. Renewable energies, by their very nature, represent the quickest response to these emerging needs. Despite the abundance of natural resources in the area, the contribution of renewable energy to the total primary energy supply remains limited, especially in the south. Taking into account the huge potential of solar and wind resources and very large areas available in the Med countries, appropriate and well-planned development of renewable energies may constitute the real common interest as far as both the long-term as well as the short-term response are concerned. Renewable energies in particular can provide the local response to increasing consumption at local levels, whilst creating new job opportunities and thereby contributing to the area's economic development. This is the great opportunity for the North African area to develop and produce energy by using its huge natural resources to satisfy its natural and increasing hunger for energy. In order to achieve this aim, greater collaboration in the renewable energy sector across the Mediterranean is essential and could represent an important opportunity for the socio-economic development of the whole area. Cooperation in this sector could bring considerable economic income for European industry, whilst representing an instrument for technology transfer in the south. Northern countries can indeed contribute important technological expertise in promoting even better sustainable development. But full exploitation of renewable energies for large-scale electricity production is currently constrained by limited grid capacity and weak interconnections. The creation of the North-South interconnection will largely affect the development of the ongoing initiative in the Med region, as recently highlighted by the European Union in the Energy Roadmap to 2050. Last but not least, the countries in the Med region have quite different legal and regulatory framework that affect renewable energy development and use. The European Union countries are committed to stringent policy objectives and have defined regulatory regimes. Non-European Union countries are implementing the acquis communautaire to align their legislative framework with the European Union requirements. As part of this process, most of them have developed energy strategies and action plans to promote the production and use of renewable energies and have established targets and policy measures. To summarize, the security of energy supply in an unstable political context, the diversification of energy sources, the harmonization of energy market legislation, the promotion of sustainable development, as well as the development of initiatives of common interest in the infrastructure sector, will be the main challenges that the Med region has to address. Closer collaboration among all of the major stakeholders, governments, institutions, utilities, enterprises, transmission operators, is essential in order to address such challenges. For this reason, ENEL Green Power has decided to launch such an important initiative, along with Edison, CESI, GSE, Price Waterhouse, the Politecnico of Milan, Asia Ambiente Italia, Fondazione Bordoni, Terna Plus, RSE, APER and Altesis. A strategic platform for accelerating the use of renewable sources, strengthening the electricity infrastructure and enhancing a new electricity market design in the Mediterranean and Balkans area. Several initiatives are underway to foster the massive deployment of a renewable energy system in the Med region, such as Desertec, MedGrid, MedReg, MedTSO, and the Med Solar Plan. Each one of these represents an effective tool in each specific sector of competence to enhance regional cooperation on specific issues and to bring the two shores of the Mediterranean closer to each other. RES4MED is not meant to be an additional initiative. We want to offer the expertise, knowledge, and experience of all of its members to all of the sectoral initiatives which are already ongoing in the area. For this reason, we decided to create an advisory board including all of these important associations. In a nutshell, we have the ambitious goal of becoming the network of networks in the Mediterranean area. We aspire to connect all of the Euro-Mediterranean decision makers to the international context, facilitating the understanding and the applicability of the policies and strategic projects proposed. To a far greater extent than previously, we want to share a leadership role in making strategic choices and transferring technical, economic, and research skills in a consistent way. Ladies and gentlemen, common interests and close interdependence oblige the two shores to work together to shape their future. If we succeed, the Mediterranean could become a new area of modernization and prosperity. Through the creation of RES4MED, we want to play a leading role in bridging the European countries with Mediterranean as a linking element between our geographical, historical, and cultural traditions. More than 30 years ago, Aldo Moro stated that no one has to choose between being in Europe and being in the Mediterranean, since the whole of Europe is in the Mediterranean. We are here to contribute in our sector to make this aspiration reality. Thank you for your attention. E ora è con grande piacere che invito il Ministro Gnudi a raggiungermi sul palco e a prendere la parola. Grazie.